I welcome Johnny Amore to an artist talks today.
Cheers.
Cheers. And it's very nice because I don't know you so much. I've only seen a few pictures of you.
Yeah.
And I know you work with Johan Pasquale, who is also your partner, who came to the talk last month. And that you are mainly a performance artist.
No, I'm mainly a photographer.
Okay, so you see? I didn't know.
I even wouldn't call myself a performance artist.
Okay.
Or
That's
I even
interesting.
wouldn't call myself an artist, probably. I don't know.
Okay, so what do you call yourself?
I don't know.
Is Johnny Amore your real name?
Sure.
No, it's not. So, it's secret. It's top secret, your real name.
No, it's for sure not my real name. But it has parts of my real name, and it's more the name started when I wrote poems. I wrote poems 12 years ago. Yeah. And they were like little trashy. I called them street poetry. And then I was just writing them down, and then I was like, oh, what's that? And now I need a figure. Johnny Amore is good because my main, I think, or not even mine, but one of the most important things in life, I think, is love. And so this Johnny Amore came up, and then I made once a year a reading in a white suit and a cowboy hat. And
I've seen pictures.
And this was...
It's like a character then.
This was like performance somehow, because I never made a rehearsal or something. I just took the poems and went out, and I didn't know what's happened.
And you just read in the street, you mean?
No, it was a bar or something.
Okay.
So it was an evening, but I didn't know what I'm doing. Somehow I just went out with my poems in this white suit and let things happen.
And this were your first so-called performances, experience?
No. There were also experiences in performance before, but we didn't call it performance or something. We made just things. I even didn't know anything about performance, to be honest.
Yeah. So
it sounds a little bit old-fashioned, like from the 60s or 70s, but I was not really... And even today I don't care if it's performance or not performance, or visual arts or this art or this art. I actually really don't care.
Mm-hmm. But so you studied photography?
I studied photography. That's why I say my main focus is photography, because there I have the most proved knowledge.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you actually still work as a photographer?
Not in the business, but yeah, I work a lot with photography.
You work a lot with photography?
So that's my main topics, like photography and performance.
Okay. Can you describe a little bit your direction in photography? Because I don't know so much your work in photography.
So under the name of Johnny Amore, I worked a lot with self-portraits for 12 years. Or I made a series of musicians in front of wallpapers. So I was collecting wallpapers, or let's say for 10 years I was working with patterns and aprons and wallpapers and I don't know, whatever you can.
And what was your interest for these patterns? You just like
Can
the
you
print.
say why you're interested in something when you start? You just start because.
Yeah. Well, what made you start? What something happened?
Probably my childhood, because if I see pictures from my childhood, we are lucky that we're not totally crazy, everybody, because there were patterns everywhere. The clothes, the wallpapers, the ground, the city, everything was full of total patterns. So if you see pictures like, ooh. I mean, yeah, it's simply a question of age. I mean, you were probably in the same surrounding.
With the trousers going like that.
I mean, look, the trousers, everything was full of patterns in a living room or something.
Okay.
I know, perhaps I had to manage my childhood again. I don't know. You have to ask Freud.
Okay, I don't know so much about Freud. Well, a little bit like everyone.
No, but yeah, so I didn't know why I started, but I was working a long time, and I built up characters with patterns. So I choose the wallpaper, then I put the wallpaper on the wall, and then I made a portrait of the musician in front of the wallpaper. So So it was in a
It
club.
sort of gave you a frame over the wallpaper. It gave you some sort of idea for the character you were creating. I mean, it actually influenced.
So it was in a club too. It's a club in Munich where there were like underground concerts, but a lot of interesting characters.
Mm-hmm.
And I could make it in the first floor where the musicians were sleeping, so it was quite easy. The main work was really putting the wallpapers on the wall.
Mm-hmm.
And so I let's say I took more focus on the character. I add something, let's say it like that.
Mm-hmm.
So that's, I think, what photography does is setting a frame.
Yeah.
If you make portraits.
Mm-hmm.
And then I made in India. I collected passport pictures. That's also something I did over many years.
When did you go to India?
2001 and 95.
You stayed there for a long time?
In 2000, I was there 5 months. Yeah.
Where in India?
All over, not the north, but.
Okay, lots of places.
Yeah. So.
What, you went to Bombay, you went to Goa, you went to
Yeah,
Delhi?
in Goa I was 95.
Yeah.
So, no, not Delhi, Bombay. So Bombay, Varanasi was the most northern part.
And what was your impression of India at the time? Did it influence your work at that time?
Hard to say. I finished my studies, so I went there after that. I think it's more to calm down.
To make a break?
To reset a little bit after the studies. And
in a spiritual way, you meant, or just breaking away from culture?
I don't know. When I was there in 95, it's that's the weird part about India, because I think you can only love it or hate it.
Mm-hmm.
There is nothing in between. Even life there is so stressy and stressful. I came back totally calm. So when I had the choice to make a travel after my studies, I remembered that I was very calm when I came back only after 3 weeks. And I said, I want to go back, but longer. And I mean, if you see this 5 months, it's every day, it's really hard work there. So you get nothing for free.
Yeah.
But in the end, you're very calm. That's and I love India. So for me, I'm really very much infected, I can say. So now it's getting down, but I was for. I mean, it took 1 year that I really came back in our system. It was.
But what is it that you like so much in India? It's quite interesting.
What I love a lot is how the people are able to communicate, because they're able to communicate without words. You just look in the eyes, or I mean, even if you ask them a question, they only do this. So you have to interpret.
Very, very good.
Yeah, you have to interpret. What is it? Is it a yes or a no? So you need much more than just a word.
Yeah.
And in India, I spoke with a numb person, fluent. I never did it before. But I don't know.
You learned Indian.
Yeah, it was like, because you read with the eyes and so many things. Mainly eyes and gesture, and it's totally enough.
Yeah, and there's something in the dance, their hands, they do all sorts of things. It's really very expressive.
This I only really seen in India, and after that I went to China, and I had really trouble there. So it was really big difficulties. And I was there after India, so I was really like, checking out and going out, but it was so difficult. And India was really, for me, I was really affected for 10 years, 12 years still in my mind. It was silent when I was in Germany or somewhere else, but the moment I went somewhere for a travel, it was like, but in India.
Yeah. And it doesn't bother you, this caste and the people in the streets, or the misery, all this thing, how to do?
I mean, I like India as well because it's so pure. It's like you take a room or something and you take everything, like all animals and people and all kinds of things, and put them in the room and say good luck. So, and it works somehow. I mean, with the castes, I really don't get it. I mean, you don't, I mean, I was only in contact with Indian people and I heard about caste or I've seen things, but you don't really get it. You're
If
a
you're
foreigner.
outside, yeah.
You're a foreigner. I mean, you see sometimes, okay, this guy is not able to sit here now because he's lower caste or something. But
you don't
you only get it because you get an explanation or something. I mean, but
yeah.
And I mean, in the end, there is official. We also have castes.
Yeah,
somehow.
it's the same.
I mean,
thing
castes
here.
are somehow everywhere.
Yeah.
For sure, we are a democracy, but you know, the rich and the poor, and
they don't mix either.
I mean, there it's so real, and it's you see the poorest people,
yeah.
and you see the richest people, and you see all animals, and you have to deal with them, and
yeah.
you have to deal with everything, and I think that's what I like. You get used to so many things, and I've seen, I don't know, dogs on 2 feet. I don't know. I've seen things here coming out of people, dead people in the Ganga.
Right.
I don't know. Or like when they're burning the people in Varanasi, it's so normal, you know. Here we are making a big deal out of the death, but there it's so normal. You smell it everywhere. You see dead people whole day to the city, and the rich are in gold, and the poor are like just a blanket, and then you can watch how they burn them. And the smell, I mean, this is very specific smell.
I haven't experienced that.
Yeah, it's very interesting. So.
And after when you came back, did what happened? Did you do a series of pictures? Did it influence your work? Did you what happened after India? You changed.
So I made a. I still like my series of pictures I did there. So it was like very free, and because in the photography school you're focused on series, and like art is, you always have to focus on a series. And yeah, after that I was working on my portfolio, and then the airplanes were flying into the towers. So
the airplanes were flying into the towers. You're referring to September 11th.
Yeah. So this was in my time when I came back from India. A little later, but it was the time where I was still where I am. Yeah.
And so that sort of made a break, or why are you talking about that?
Because it was strange, because I didn't fit really in our society.
You didn't understand what was going on, you mean, in a way?
Sure, I know it. I mean, I'm born here, and but you're so, after 5 months of India, or probably after 5 months of traveling in general alone, I was alone, and in India specifically, you're so out of everything.
Yeah.
It's, and for sure, you're coming back, you meet your friends, and you, I don't know, eat Schweinebraten or something like that, and everything seemed to be normal. But what I mean is that you come back and you accept, because you have to accept the system we're living in. Otherwise, you can go to an island. So, like, to accept that, okay, we are in this capitalistic system and I have to deal with it. But I was like in between, and nobody understood me except people who were in India. So it was difficult. And then these planes were also flying, and it was a little bit weird time. Interesting.
And did you create performances or characters around them from this experience?
No. So I don't know if India influenced me. I couldn't say that. So it influenced me in a series. I collected passport pictures there.
Yeah.
And I collected like.
But how can you collect passport pictures? Sorry.
Yeah, you go to a shop and say, "Do you have passport pictures to sell?"
Oh, okay, all right.
And then
ID pictures, little. No, I was thinking you were collecting other people's passports, but it's just the pictures, not the passport.
Yeah.
Yes.
But in India, you can buy everything. I mean, also here you can buy everything.
Yes. That's
so
true.
I collected this passport pictures, and then I collected also what's stuff?
Material.
Yeah. From the let's say I only brought garbage.
Yeah.
In the end, and then that was new for me. I was collecting passport pictures since a long time, and wallpapers. So I combined the wallpapers and the passport pictures of friends and people I know,